Hello, and welcome back to Goalside, football fan. Success in football often brings a lot more than just joy, doesn't it? After all, many of the biggest football clubs in history which have created names for themselves often have to deal with the dozens of negatives that come along with it. The pressure to consistently win silverware, the need to spend money on buying bigger and better players, being judged all of the time in every single match and having every draw or defeat analyzed to the last second, to the very last tackle, save, or shot. It gets really tough, and many big clubs and their players often crumble under this crushing pressure, throwing their arms up and shaking their heads in despair. It happened to AC Milan. It's happening to both Manchester United and Arsenal. However, it's not an Italian or an English club we'll be talking about today, but instead one of the legendary Spanish giants, the almighty Catalan force that reshaped La Liga football. We're talking about FC Barcelona, the great champion that currently seems to be a couple of punches away from being knocked out for good. The questions are there and have been there for a while, and even the most diehard fans of the Blaugrana are starting to doubt their club's ability to come back from these tough times. For a club that has won everything under the sun, has bought whoever they've wanted, possess one of the two greatest players currently in the game, and who are supposed to be the joint best that Spanish football can offer. It just feels like FC Barcelona aren't as impressive anymore. Although their league position at the moment of writing this video, a very awkward and ugly-looking 8th position in La Liga, 1 point less than Real Madrid and 5 from leaders Atletico Madrid, might just be a momentary blip that can be fixed once they get back on track again, there are worse things going on at the club than just a slow start to the league season. And this is a worrying and unprecedented fact for the fans. Ernesto Valverde's side has been unable to gel properly for a while now, and it's troublesome to think that, having bought almost all of the players they need, FC Barcelona still seem to be searching for a miracle that will catapult them back to the stardom they enjoyed not so long ago. This 55-year-old former manager of the Athletic Club de Bilbao is capable of managing a side without world-class players and taking them far, but it seems that this capability has failed him during his time at Barcelona. Could it be a matter of clashing egos? Maybe the style used by Valverde just isn't effective enough? Or perhaps he's a man out of his depth and should resign as soon as he can. Could be anything, but in this video, we'll analyze just what the heck is going on with this traditionally powerful footballing behemoth. Let's start with the results. This bad run isn't exactly recent, to be honest. In fact, the previous season, in 2018-19, it ended in a quite terrible way, with the Culés losing 2 trophies they were certain of winning in the most spectacular fashion. First, they incredibly let go of a 3-0 lead against Liverpool in the semifinals of the UEFA Champions League, falling 4-0 at Anfield after a Jurgen Klopp masterclass, which included a corner kick that completely disarmed the Blaugrana. And then after that, Messi and company fell in the Copa del Rey final against a weaker Valencia, who only needed 33 minutes to dispatch them with 2 goals to Messi's 1, shocking both the Blaugrana and the entire footballing world with this result that would mark an overall average season. Barcelona haven't exactly done well in the start of the current 2019-20 season either, only winning one of their opening 3 games in the La Liga calendar, in which they pummeled Real Betis in a 5-2 showdown. In their other results, they were shocked in a 2-2 draw with recently promoted Osasuna and lost their La Liga opener 1-0 in mid-August thanks to a last-minute Aritz Adurez scissor kick that brought them crashing down to earth. Many fans have risen up against Ernesto Valverde and several players in the squad, blaming them for being too complacent against the smaller sides and showing great defensive weakness at important moments, especially in the semi-final match at Anfield, angrily adding that the manager doesn't ever seem to know how to come back from a losing result. Furthermore, and adding to their misery, Lionel Messi has failed to return to play after straining his thigh in his first training session after coming back from the Copa America. Nobody has given an accurate reading of when he's expected to return, although most of the fans and staff surrounding the club believe that it could finally be in the second half of September of 2019, with tough matches against Valencia, Borussia Dortmund, and Villarreal awaiting his team. In fact, the significant drop in form that Barcelona suffers at moments like this one, when Lionel Messi is out with an injury, are well known at the club, having started long ago. The Messi dependence that FC Barcelona suffers from is quite infamous, with Leo having scored or assisted 47 of Barcelona's 85 league goals in the 2018-19 La Liga season, as well as being their key player in the Champions League. Reflecting this on their current form, Barcelona have won only 1 match in their last 8 without Messi, including an embarrassing 2-1 defeat against Levante in January of 2019. The Argentine is their savior, clearly, and without him it doesn't matter if they have Ousmane Dembele, Antoine Griezmann, Philippe Coutinho, who has since left the club, or Sergio Busquets, all top players. It's as if they become a shadow of themselves entirely. It isn't all about Messi's absence, however. There's no real reason for the situation at FC Barcelona to be this way, especially with the players at their disposal. The current squad value is at an incredible 1.15 billion euros, with players such as Dembele having cost them 140 million euros. De Jong around 80 million euros, and Antoine Griezmann a sum of around 120 million euros, shooting down any possibilities of the players or fans blaming the club's board or lacking of spending for their woes. Whenever the Catalan giants are truly challenged by their opponents, all of their superiority seems to go down the drain and they find themselves struggling to hold their own against smaller sides. For example, as much as Liverpool may have impressed in the Premier League, it's largely considered that their semi-final win over the Blaugrana was more of a Barcelona failure than a Liverpool victory, considering that Messi and company would only have had to score a single goal to progress and failed to do so, almost incredibly. Similarly, the defeat against Valencia in the Copa del Rey was a show of below-average defending from the Culés, with both goals coming from mistakes revolving around Gerard Pique and Clement Lenglet, the team's center-backs. If the club wants to return to its peak when it was dominating not only Spain, but also the entirety of Europe, it'll need to fix the horrific faults it is committing when defending a counterattack, as well as the weaknesses against set pieces which have hurt them in even the most insignificant matches. But those are definitely things that need to be addressed by the manager. And what can we add about Ernesto Valverde? Is he to blame for the ongoing situation at the club? Anyone with a bit of football knowledge will realize he definitely is behind a lot of the failure at the club, unfortunately. Winner of a Copa del Rey and European Cup Winners' Cup as a player for the Blaugrana in the late 90s, Valverde was called upon to manage the team in mid-2017, after fan favorite Luis Enrique decided to leave once his contract ran out. Starting off with the significant defeats in the Spanish Supercopa against historic rivals Real Madrid, Valverde turned his fortunes around to lead his side to a 29-game unbeaten run that ended with an Espanyol defeat, followed by another 15-game unbeaten run that started immediately after. Despite the awkward defeat and elimination against Roma in the Champions League, and the first of two times FC Barcelona would throw away a 3-0 lead in a semi-final tie in successive years, Valverde won the La Liga trophy and Copa del Rey, followed by the Spanish Supercopa just a few months later. However, despite these decent beginnings, Valverde has seemed to have lost the plot when it comes to producing the results expected at a club of FC Barcelona's stature. And many have wondered what is going on behind the scenes that is keeping him in the job. After all, the manager has been publicly praised and supported by club president Josep Maria Bartomeu and club captain and legend Lionel Messi, who both believe that the former Barcelona forward is the man to push them forward to glory. Fans, additionally, are furious as to the situation. Many have taken to the club's social media accounts to express their rage, famously trending the hashtag #ValverdeOut following Barcelona's defeats against Liverpool, Valencia, and Athletic Bilbao, as well as openly criticizing the players on their Twitter and Instagram accounts, begging Messi to return to fitness and, in a smaller proportion, calling for Neymar to be re-signed at the club. It is certainly a sad and worrying moment for FC Barcelona at this point in time, admittedly, when they are desperately looking to bring back a player who turned his back on them for money when he joined Paris Saint-Germain in 2017 for an insane record fee of 222 million euros, as well as the fact that the much-celebrated signing of Antoine Griezmann, one of the most incredible players in La Liga, was quickly swept under the rug by the fans, who don't seem to care much about his arrival. When it comes to the initial question of what is going on, it becomes obvious that there isn't just one thing that can be attributed to Barcelona's ongoing crisis, but a whole set of things that apparently decide to go wrong at the same time. Can Barcelona be saved, however? That is the biggest question that must be asked next. If you were to try to find a single point with which to begin the restoration of FC Barcelona, you'd have to begin with bringing Lionel Messi back to fitness. This, if done soon, could rapidly turn their fortunes around. Leo, with his goals and incredible vision for assists, could quickly increase the number of lethal attacks being made by the side, as well as instill fear in the enemy's ranks when they see his name on the lineup. Secondly, Valverde must stop his unnecessary experiments and start taking each match more seriously, finding a team that works to his satisfaction and who can fight for their places in the squad instead of taking them for granted. Rotation can be good, but too much of it destabilizes the core of the squad, leading to dressing room trouble and performance issues. Lastly, the Neymar transfer saga must be put to an end. Despite the transfer window closing, fans are still hopeful he'll join in either January or next summer, and the pressure is still on the club to sign. Either they make the deal with PSG or announce that it's off, but if they don't, it'll hang over them like a dark presence for months, hurting the team as a whole. Honestly, we all know that FC Barcelona can fight back to the position they deserve, but will they do it? This has been the analysis of Barcelona's trouble in 2019. We hope you have enjoyed it. If you liked it, please don't forget to subscribe for more Goalside content. See you in our next video.